So guys, let's create a cluster now. If you see here the star, come here and say cluster, and it will come with the cluster page properties, general properties, and if you have a choice you can go for the wizard mode or classic mode. Generally you get these choices. So in wizard mode you will get step-by-step procedure. It will guide you through how to create a cluster, and in classic mode you have to define each and everything. I always prefer classic mode, so I have clicked the classic mode. Now the general property for the clustering will open, and from there we'll take a next step. So here let's give it a cluster name. So cluster 1, give it IP address. So this IP address will be the cluster IP address. So this IP address is going to be referred for your external communication. So as you know, in our topology, this IP address is your VIP. So just I wanted to brief you again. So this is your VIP for the clustering external network. So I'm going to give this IP address and the rest of the thing as per this topology. So now let me give that IP address 192.168.1.103. If you see here the version, it's R81.10, but we have the gateways R80.30. So make those changes. For now I don't want IPsec VPN, so I am disabling this box, but if you like you can have this open, have this checked, and later on if you also want you can again check this box as per your requirement. Okay, now cluster members. From this option you are able to add your cluster members. So we already have the gateway created, SG1, SG2, those are the cluster member. So I am just simply adding those gateways here. Now it's saying if you add SG1 to the cluster, it will be converted to the cluster member. Some setting will be lost and the following setting will be remain same: SIC, VPN, NAT, except for the IP pools. So I'm okay with it. So I'm saying yes. It should add the cluster SG1 member. Now similarly we'll add the SG2, same message, and it should add the SG2 as well. So both the members are added. Now go to the third option, ClusterXL and VRRP. So we are doing this lab for the high availability, and it's ClusterXL. VRRP we are not going to cover here. So this is the ClusterXL. If you like to create something like load sharing, you can do that using this option, but for that you have to enable some other options. So this property will be enabled. For now, for this lab, the ClusterXL is enabled. Then advanced setting, you have to select this, use state synchronization. After how many seconds the state synchronization will happen, you can give it here. Then use virtual MAC. Consider you have an environment where you have a multiple cluster in the same segmentation, in the same subnet areas. So over there may be chances of the conflict. So at that time you have to use this option, use virtual MAC, so that problem generally won't occur. Okay, so we don't have these settings and requirement, that's why this checkbox is unchecked. Okay, and this is what upon the cluster member recovery, maintain current active cluster member, switch to the higher priority cluster member. It depends on your preemption and the priority you want to set. So basically I'm going with the default, saying maintain current active cluster member. It looks good. Next, network management. So once you come here you will not see anything. Then what the choice is, you have to get all the interfaces here. So only thing is that go to this option, get interfaces, and from here say get interfaces with the topology. Topology and anti-spoofing setting that are already defined will be overwritten. by result of this operating that contradict them. If any, we want to continue, that's fine. I'm saying okay. We will do again those settings if required. So as you can see, my ETH0 is my external network, so, and it's a part of cluster, so I'm making it as a cluster and give it a virtual IP address to it, 192.168.1.103 as per the topology. And here this is the external network, so I'm modifying the topology setting. I'm saying this is the external network and it has to be performed this anti-spoofing, as you can see here. That's it for this IPv4 okay. So let's give it 24 mask, and maybe it conflict for the name, but it's okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, it took the name, which is fine. So 172 section 1.102 is your the network sync network. So I am going to touch it later. Let me touch this guy. This is the your internal network. So everything looks good. This is a part of the cluster, so give it a virtual IP to this as well. 10.0.103 is a virtual IP address, subnet mask, and the anti-spoofing is okay for this. This is all your network internal. If you want to override and you have to define these things like specific network you want to define here behind this network, you can do that, but for now I don't have those requirements, so I am just saying this is your internal network. Anti-spoofing for the internal network, I would say detect, because internal network mostly is not that vulnerable than the external network, so detect is fine. If we make this prevent, it will take more process to run. I'm just trying to reduce some process so the work will be there, but without hampering the processes. So this looks good. Okay, and now this, I don't know why it come like this. Maybe the software error or some other things. It has to be come with the one format. But anyhow, we just want to make this interface as a sync interface, so I am not doing anything here. I'm just making this interface as sync. If it say name is already used, then say 1-1 just for the software purpose, and this also I want to make it sync, so just say sync. Alright, it is allowed to up sync one interface. It's okay. Let's see, cluster plus sync. Okay, if I say only sync, that is fine. Let's do one thing. Let's have only this guy in a sync network, provided these settings, because I don't know why it's doing this, but for now I'm keeping it as it is. Let's see what happens once we finish this configuration. And now is generating the signature. Let's wait for this. Okay, now the new object is there. There is a mismatch between the synchronization network and the cluster member. Not all members in the cluster are exactly one interface in each synchronized network. They wish to keep change anyway. Let's have it for now, and then we'll try to publish this, and later on we'll see if it is a bug or what. For now, let me publish it, and we'll try to push the policy. Initially in the policy, I don't want to keep any thing as I would say dropping the part. I will allow the things for the purpose of cluster to be enabled, and once that is done, will be allow requested thing one by one. So let's go to the security policy. We have a cleanup rule, and now what I will do, I will create one rule in above, and here what we will do, will create source as your internal network. So let me create one network here, So the network would be IP underscore 192.168.1.0, and here 192.168.1.0, subnet mask 255.255.255.250, and let's make it okay. So one network is there. Let's allow one more network here, which is your internal network. So IP underscore 10.10.0 dot I would say 1, that's fine, /24. We can give it like this if you like. Give it IP address 10.10.0.1 and give it a subnet mask 255.255.255.0, which is good. IP address is invalid. Why it's saying IP address is invalid? What's wrong? Okay, that is fine. So internal network is like this. It corrected for me. Great. Destination would be any for now. So let's have all the communication to be allowed. So just right click to it. Just click to it and switch to any. Application for now I'm putting any. Let's allow this communication and let's track it as well for now, just the sake of the cluster to be enabled. Okay, everything looks good. Publish the changes and we'll try to install the policy to the cluster. Let's see if it's getting installed or it will give us some error related to the one issue what we are facing when we're trying to configure the properties of the interfaces. So let's wait for a minute to see what happens here, whether the verification take place, policy installation happens, or we get error. %, let's complete 100%. Okay, it was expected some error. So basically what it's saying is SG1 of gateway cluster member does not have exactly one interface of each of the cluster synchronization network. There is 0 interfaces. Okay, so it's saying SG1 of gateway cluster member cluster 1 does not have exactly one interface of each cluster synchronization. Okay, look like the issue is with the cluster members and actual issue lies here. So this is something which we need to take care of. So SG1 10.10.0.101, 10.10.0.202, 10.10.103. This looks okay. Let's do this one more time. In get interface with topology and get interface without topology. Let's see what happens here. Nothing got changed. And if I say with topology, okay, so for the simplicity what we will do, we'll try to delete this guy if we can. Okay, and now let's edit this guy, and here what we are seeing, we are seeing members IPv4. Okay, so we have member, we'll have to give one more, so let's give it 172.16.1.101, okay, /24, and say okay, and rest of the thing should be okay. So what I have done, by default the software giving me one more interface added, and I tried with that and I come to error, as you can see. So now what I did, I just removed that interface which come extra, maybe the software bug. Now I have just given it at once. Okay, so one part is gone. So let's see if we get any error. If we get any error, we will rectify. This lab or this video series for the ClusterXL is for this guy. I mean, this for only this thing. Whatever the issues, errors we face, we'll try to resolve it. It's not expected that everything is smooth and simply, you know, we will be creating all the things, right? So expectation. Now let's see if I can install the policy. So let's see, install policy. If verification fails, I'll come to know. If not, again I come to know. Let's see. As you can see here, once the policy installation taken place, the load of the CPUs goes 91%. That's why it's recommended to have a better hardware and better software. I mean better hardware with good amount of RAM, good amount of memory, so that in production environment you will not face any sort of issues. So now it looks 50% completed. Let's wait for a minute to see if it's completed 100%, and if so, then we'll go to the CLI and we'll see what is the cluster status, and from there we'll take the next things. So meanwhile, let's launch the CLI so the time will be saved here. So let's make say 192.168.1.1.1. I'm just randomly logging to this gateway. Let me say admin and give it a password. Let me go to the expert mode. Okay, let's see what is the load here. So CP view generally give it the load 14, 18, 11%, which is okay. Have you seen the load goes 100%? That's why it's more of like, you know, slowness. And this is what I have expected as well, because the configuration what we have given is bare minimum. policy got installed successfully, and this what we can see here in terms of the cluster status. The command is cp proc status, and as you can see, you can you can see this. The cluster is active standby state hg1 hg2, and here they have taken the IP address from the sync interface. That is fine. So guys, here we conclude that how we can create uh, ClusterXL in high availability mode. When I rerun this command, I can see the IP address changes here. But I believe that is fine. That is going to be the software. Now again, if I run, now it come up with the correct one, right? So same network, and if I run again, now it shows this. That is fine. This is the VM environment, and maybe the software bug or maybe some other issues. But end of the day, our cluster HA is formed and this lab is successful. So guys, thanks for watching this video, and have a wonderful day.